Becky with Life Keys Energy. Welcome to tonight's restorative class. For tonight's class, we will need 2 blankets, a block, and a wall or a chair. Let's go ahead and get started. Coming into Sukhasana, heels in line with the groin. Starting to rock side to side, feeling those sit bones connect to the earth beneath you. Coming into just a little bit of stillness here. Bringing the shoulders up to the ears, waterfall the shoulder blades down the back. And start to imagine there's a string on the top of your head pulling you just a little bit taller. If you're looking for some grounding energy today, being a little bit more present in the body, a little bit more introspective, maybe those palms are going to face down. If you're feeling open and receptive, ready for some new creative energy, maybe those palms will face up. Totally yogi's choice here. And if it feels safe, close the eyes. And if it doesn't feel safe, just soften the gaze down to the ground. Taking the next few moments, start to notice how it feels to breathe tonight. Where does that air want to go? Where does that air not want to go? And if it feels safe in your body, see if you can deepen your breath just a little bit. No need to force, just invite that breath a little deeper into the belly. And without forcing anything, see if you can make your exhales 1 to 3 counts longer than your inhales. That longer exhale allows for relaxation and encourages our parasympathetic nervous system to kind of kick in. And that's our restore, relax, rejuvenate system of our body. And really take your time here. Allow those inhales to be deep and full. And allow your exhales to be complete. There's no need to rush, nowhere to be, just here on our mats. Two more, just like that, slow and steady. And coming back to this breath pattern time and time again during this practice. Let's bring our hands together, press the thumbs into the sternum, and take a moment to set a sankalpa, or an intent for today's practice. This is your practice. Make it personal. Exhale, release the hands to the knees, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale the ear to one shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear to opposite shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Continue with this. Let your breath carry the motion. Moving slow. And when that ear finds one shoulder, go ahead and leave it there. And we are bringing our ear down to our shoulder, not the shoulder up to the ear. Doesn't matter if it touches. Bring that same arm up and over, adding just a little bit of pressure, walking the opposite hand away from the body, lengthening those scalenes, your neck muscles. Taking some deep breaths here. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up. Let's switch sides, bringing the chin to the chest. Inhale the ear to the opposite shoulder. Bring that same arm up and over, adding just a little bit of pressure. Walk the opposite hand away from the body. Breathing in here. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up, rolling out those shoulders. We'll bring the thumb up towards the ceiling and then bring it right between the shoulder blades, any way that it gets there. Drop that ear to the opposite shoulder, opening up these scalenes. Long, deep breaths. Inhale, lift up, switching sides. Bring the thumb up towards the ceiling. Bring it right between the shoulder blades, any way that it gets there. Drop the ear to the opposite shoulder. Breathe in here. Inhale, lift up and release. We'll interlace the fingers, bring the fingers back behind the occipital, elbows open up super wide. Dropping the chin to the chest, keeping the spine straight. Take a few deep breaths here. And then around the back, look down at the belly button. Breathe in here. Inhale, lift up. We're gonna take these same interlaced fingers, push the palms away at shoulder height. Round the back and look down at the belly, finding a stretch between the wings, between the shoulder blades. Exhale, release, come back to center, rolling out the shoulders. We are going to open up with surfboard. Surfboard takes a little bit more setup than we usually do, and it requires some origami yoga folding of blankets. So to start, we're going to open up one of our blankets and fold it in half lengthwise, giving us a long rectangle. We'll do that one more time and then fold it in half widthwise. So you should be left with a long, skinny rectangle. You're gonna place that towards the top of your mat. We're gonna do all of that folding all over again with the second blanket here. This is the most complicated part of tonight. So again, with the blanket open up wide, fold it lengthwise again, and then fold it in half. Then once you have two blankets that look like this, you're gonna start at your edge, and you want that edge to be about a third of the way down. So you wanna elongate this and make a little tail. You're going to take your top of your blanket and fold it back. So now I have this little gentle ramp. Don't really worry about this. As long as it's approximate to this and it's a ramp, it's going to be fun. From here, you're going to grab your block and you're going to bring your block to the top of your ramp because that's going to be your pillow. So to come into surfboard, we're going to get on our hands and knees here and lower the belly down onto the blankets. The forehead simply rests on the block as we walk the arms back behind us, palms facing up. If your low back is tender, bring the toes in and let the heels point out. And then let those shoulders really round forward. We want a really beautiful opening here of that back. And we're going to be here for the better part of 10 minutes. So taking some long, deep breaths here. If you find your mind is getting really busy, come back to that breath. See if you can elongate that exhale, making it just a little bit longer than the inhale. If you're noticing your breath is getting away from you, and you've hit that point where your mind is starting to make lists and tell you what you forgot to do today, I'm going to invite you to focus on where your body is being supported by the earth beneath you. Notice where that forehead is connecting. Notice where the chest has support. Notice where the back of the hands are connecting, the thighs, the tops of the feet. The entire body held and supported with the breath flowing freely. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. You're going to push your hips back to meet your heels in Balasana Child's Pose. Now, if it doesn't feel good in your body to have the legs together, just bring those knees out super wide. Make it an open Balasana. Taking a few deep breaths here. And walking the hands back, bringing ourselves up to a seated position. We're going to take the blankets off the mat, and we'll grab our block or our books, whatever we're using for this class. When I teach, our block has 3 levels, so baby bear, mama bear, and papa bear. Most likely, most of us are going to want mama bear for this pose. If your back is super tender, start off with baby bear. Mama bear is going to be really intense unless you're like a gymnast. So we're going to plant the soles of the feet onto the ground and bend the knees. Pulling the belly button back towards the spine, we'll lay it back all the way back onto our backs. Putting the weight into the heels, we're going to lift the hips up and slip that block right underneath the hips. Your block or your book will do all the work for you here. Take a moment, adjust the feet, feel really secure here. Now, if this position doesn't feel safe in the body, like you're physically safe, but your mind's like, no, maybe try to bring a blanket over the hips. It absolutely does not change your pose, but it does make us feel safer and more grounded. Maybe play with walking the shoulder blades down the back, making room. And maybe notice if this pose feels better with the palms facing up or the palms facing down. Coming back to your breath here, hanging out in supported bridge. Using the breath, see if you can get those muscles to relax a little bit more. Let your bones become heavy here. Slowly deepen your breath. If you have a blanket over your hips, go ahead and just put that to the side for just a moment. You're going to need it again here. Put the weight into the heels, lift those hips up, remove the block, and come back onto the spine. Taking a moment, hug both knees to the chest. See if you can lengthen your spine here by anchoring your hips and your shoulder blades onto the mat. Lift your head, lengthen the neck, and lower the head back down gently. And with this really long spine, hug the knees to the chest. Breathing in here. Exhale, lower the feet back down to the ground. The next pose, we're going to stay just like this. Open those knees up super wide with the soles of the feet together. Play with how close you want the heels into the body and how far away you want the heels from the body. The closer the heels are in, the more intense the hip opening. If this is already a no thank you bite, go ahead and grab your blankets and just slip them over your hips and bellies. Walking the shoulder blades down the back. Bring those arms up overhead, maybe making cactus arms or maybe making a diamond shape with the arms. Allowing the hips and the shoulders to relax. Taking some long, deep breaths in Supta Baddha Konasana. Coming back to that deep belly breath. Really letting that belly move on the inhale and move on the exhale. We have a tendency to breathe clear up in our chests, and especially as women, we're taught to kind of suck in the bellies. That is a way to invoke anxiety in the body. So if we allow that breath to come fuller and sit deeper in the body, it actually tells our bodies that we are safe. There is no threat, there's nothing to run from, and it brings us out of this heightened alert into more of a calm state. So really coming back to that breath over and over. Slowly deepen your breath. If you have a blanket across the hips, go ahead and remove the blanket. And gently plant the soles of the feet onto the ground and maybe bring the arms back down by the side body. Windshield wiper those knees a couple of times, resetting the hips, letting the back kind of relax. It might feel good to hug the knees to the chest. And then either rock yourself up to a seated position or roll over onto your side and push yourself up to a seated position. For our final pose before Savasana, we're going to come into a supported reclined spinal twist on both sides. If you have a bolster at home, feel free to use that. Otherwise, if you're following along and you have blankets, we're going to take our two blankets and roll them together and make a great big burrito. Once you have your great big burrito, you're going to lay your burrito lengthwise towards the top of your mat. And this is the only trick to this entire pose. You want your hip to be kissing this bolster or this burrito. Your legs can be staggered or stacked, or maybe even straighten the top one if that is more comfortable. Arrange your foundation. We'll lift up through the spine, twist over our burrito, and place the belly and the chest down. The head can turn from either side. It just depends on what is most comfortable for your back and your neck. You should start to feel this very gentle outer hip, lower lumbar opening here. We're going to hang out here for a little bit. Slowly deepen your breath. Slide the hands down underneath your shoulders and push yourself up to a seated position. We're going to come into that same supported reclined spinal twist on the opposite side. So turning our bodies around, getting the other hip on our burrito, noticing what feels best on this side, stack, staggered, straight. Lift up through the spine, twist over your burrito, and put the belly and the chest down. And again, you can turn your head from either side. Slowly deepen your breath. Bringing those hands back underneath your shoulders, push yourself up to a seated position. We are going to close with one of 3 poses, and it's going to be totally up to you which one you choose. So for those who don't have a chair and don't have a wall, or if you're just a traditionalist and you love Savasana, I'm going to suggest you keep your little burritos just like they are. You bring your burritos widthwise down towards the bottom of the mat. Bring your knees over your burrito, heels out as wide as the mat or wider. Come flat onto the back and walk the shoulder blades down the back with the palms facing up. This is supported Savasana. Many of us find that delicious and we would love to be there. If you want to do legs up the chair and you're using a folding chair like me, I'm going to suggest that we bring one blanket onto the chair for maximum comfort. And then if you are pregnant, think you might be pregnant, there's any possibility you're pregnant, or you just have lower back issues, take a blanket and fold it up like so and place it at the base of your chair. If you're doing legs up the chair, legs up the wall, getting into the position is the same. What you do with your legs is slightly different. So we'll come onto our hips, doesn't matter which. You'll want your booty touching the wall if you're using a wall. We'll slip the legs up the chair or up the wall as we find our backs. In legs up the chair, the knees are bent. In legs up the wall, the legs are mostly straight and you're connecting at the heels, the calves, and sometimes the hamstrings. Either way, this is a great pose for relaxation. It's awesome if you have a headache. It's great if you need some support for your digestion. This is kind of a go-to relaxation pose. Working with gravity, the lymph and the blood starts to flow back towards the heart. It's great for swelling in the legs. We're going to be here for 10 minutes. Slowly deepen your breath and start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bending the knees, slide the feet down the wall, or if you're in legs of the chair, roll over onto your side. Legs of the wall and legs of the chair are technically inversions, so move super slow. Pause here. And everybody making their way onto their sides, hanging out in that fetal position, maybe using your arm as a pillow. Start to bring to mind one thing that you're grateful for right now. Offer yourself a moment of gratitude for taking time to practice. And notice one thing that's bringing you joy right now. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, push yourself up to a seated position with hands at heart center. I leave you with one of my favorite passages from the Chameleon Aura, page 104. It's time to take off that backpack full of pain. Stop taking pain with you everywhere you go. You deserve to be free from all that heaviness. You deserve to travel lighter on your journey. Let go of the animosity. Let go of the bitterness. Let go of the resentments. Let go, let go, let go. Forgive them for everything they may have done or may not have done. But more importantly, forgive yourself. Shed that old skin and be reborn. I am so very grateful for the opportunity to practice with each and every one of you. I hope you leave this practice feeling just a skosh better than when you started. The light in me so very much honors the light in you. If you find value in this practice, please share our Patreon with your friends and family. We no longer need to be in close proximity to Kitsap County to practice together. If you haven't been on the website, lifekeysenergy.com, I highly encourage you to go hop over there and look. There are several links to different practice classes. They're full-length classes for free of most of the styles in which I teach. And then all the current workshops offering and who I am as a person is on there too. In the meantime, be kind to yourself.